Hello guys and welcome to another brand new video on the channel today, focusing on goalkeeper warm-ups and the differences and comparisons between Jordan Pickford and Nick Pope. A big thank you to Fraser Goalkeeping, who has allowed us to collaborate with him again using his fantastic footage for when Everton and Burnley played away at Newcastle United in 2020. So thank you Fraser, and I highly recommend you all go to his channel and check out the mountains of footage he's got from great goalkeeping warm-ups. Just head over to Fraser Goalkeeping and you'll see some excellent clips from lots of different Premiership goalkeepers. If you watched our first video analysing Ederson, Alisson and De Gea, you'll know how this works. So we're going to analyse Pickford and Pope and all the different aspects of their warm-up in this video. As you can see, starting off here with the activation work, which there'll be a little description at the end of seeing this little phase. So the next phase is looking at passing and playing out, which is both for Pickford and Pope at the beginning of their warm-ups. There are a couple of very slight differences here. So the first thing we can all recognise probably as goalkeeping enthusiasts and people who love goalkeeping is that Jordan Pickford is very good with his feet. He's got a fantastic left foot and has got a great range of ability, particularly with his side volleys and his driven strikes, where he can play a very long way across the pitch, almost from box to box, to set his team on the attack. And as pointed out on our first video we did with Ederson, Alisson and De Gea, you can see here with Jordan Pickford and also with Nick Pope coming up that this situation here is very relaxed. It's quite calm. There is a little bit of structure in terms of how they're doing it, starting off short and working a little bit longer and a little bit wider and a little bit further. And as we know, Jordan has been slightly harshly in some respects, been criticised in the media this season for his performances. However, it goes without saying that Jordan's playing with his feet is still fantastic and a joy to watch. The only real difference to notice between Jordan and Nick is that Nick operates off a central server as well, so he combines and plays through the middle, which presumably is the goalkeeping coach, and receives and plays first time a little bit more than Jordan does. So Nick covers a few more ranges in terms of what he's doing on the pitch before the game starts. For this next phase, from a personal point of view, this is always really interesting for me to watch, whether I'm watching a professional goalkeeper, a grassroots goalkeeper, or anyone in particular doing a goalkeeping warm-up, just to see the kind of choices and things the goalkeeper does in their technical work and handling. Because there is a lot of different things you could do, specifically in terms of having very basic work, or perhaps working a little bit more cognitively, which David De Gea did in his warm-up. One thing to notice with Jordan Pickford in his warm-up here is everything he does is pretty much from a central spot. So he's not really including any specific goalkeeping footwork before the drills in terms of turning in, moving off the post, etc. He just goes through a range of service from volleys, half volleys, dippers, etc. to gain contact on the ball and make lots of different saves. Presumably this is to gain contact, hopefully working at good quality, and then he'll bring the feet into play later on when he moves into the main goal. As we build into Nick's clips, what you'll see here is a little bit of a difference in complexity and the drills which Nick does before a game in difference to Jordan's. In terms of a couple of small differences to Jordan's warm-up, as you can see here, Nick starts off a few little half turns and goalkeeper related movements before he takes a strike, which can be quite good for a goalkeeper in terms of psychologically preparing themselves for what they may do in a game, where on the most part the ball will be moving outside of set pieces. So being able to move and get yourself set well and deal with the ball is quite a high demand. So having those little half turns and movements into the goal can be quite important for the goalkeeper psychologically before starting the game. And as hopefully some of you may have seen in a video I released earlier in the year, which I'll link above, I have had the pleasure of working with Nick Pope at Charlton Athletic when he was just starting his career. And it was a real joy to work with him and see where he's got to in his career now, particularly working at a level where he's almost challenging to be the England #1 goalkeeper. There are a couple of other differences for Nick's warm-up in this part, which you'll see in a second and we'll come to, and there will be a small description at the end as normal. So I'll let you enjoy these clips from Nick for his warm-up in his handling and technical work. There always is a little bit of difference with goalkeepers when dealing with crosses in warm-ups, and this goes from professional goalkeepers all the way through to grassroots, non-league, Sunday league, etc., whatever level you play. It's up to the goalkeeper ultimately and the goalkeeper coach in terms of if you're playing a high level of football. You usually see goalkeepers work with some static pressure or very light passive pressure on them, and you can see goalkeepers, as you'll see in a second with Nick Pope, work with completely free rein with no pressure, just taking catches very lightly. Obviously with Nick, he's very, very good at catching crosses and dealing with crosses, as he has got the best statistics in the country, in the top league for dealing with high balls. So in terms of Nick not dealing with any pressure here, this could be game by game. This is just based off one match, and he may like dealing with pressure as well. However, on the most part, dealing with pressure is a good thing for goalkeepers psychologically, as it can really prepare you for what you're about to face in the game. So as we move into the shot stopping element, this part is also a very interesting part for goalkeepers. And I had this in particular when working at Charlton with the under-21s, under-18s, and also with the first team, where once again, this can be talked about between the goalkeeper and the goalkeeper coach. However, there is a line to be drawn and understood what the goalkeeper wants between simplicity and complexity. So how far do you take it in a warm-up to a point where there is potential for you to be beaten in the main goal before a game? Or does the goalkeeper want something that's a little bit more simple? That means the goalkeeper gets touches on the ball, gets saves, particularly from working from angles, which means there's less to score into, and then be happy on that as a warm-up. Or does the goalkeeper move into more central areas, as Nick Pope is showing here, and have more variance in the strike with moving balls, central strikes, nearer shots, further out shots, left foot, right foot, etc. It is an interesting concept, an interesting thing to talk about and decide. As a goalkeeper, if you're very psychologically strong, you may go for something a little bit more random, as you want to test yourself and put yourself in front of positions that you may face in the game coming up. However, there's also nothing wrong or bad to be said about taking it quite simple, because a warm-up is there to warm you up. You don't want to do too much and blow yourself out before the game, as that is where your main action will take place.
The captain sponsor, Coast Services and Maintenance Limited. 11. Liam age 10. And Harry age 9. Jack age 8.
In our final stage of goal kicks and distribution, in terms of working with goalkeepers, I think it's very important to work off both feet. So try and play off your left and right, particularly when playing out. So if dealing with a touch and playing out, when you're doing your goal kicks, obviously you can afford to work on your most favoured foot, because in terms of time, you would have the time and space to play off your main and preferred foot. There are a couple of very small differences between Jordan and Nick in this section, which you'll see in the description at the end. However, I wouldn't read too much into this part for the goalkeepers, because as you can see, once again, they're taking it very calmly, lots of relaxed movements, there's nothing too structured, they're just finding their range, making sure they have good quality contact on the ball. Jordan obviously works a few more side volleys in terms of what he's known for, and he's playing out in distribution, but ultimately they're just finding their range, looking to make good contact and get ready for a Premier League match, where hopefully they'll play well and make limited mistakes based off of having a very good warm-up. ultimately, the higher level you go, the more you can afford to have a better rounded understanding of what it takes for you to be prepared before a match. Obviously, the professionals are working every single day and have a goalkeeper coach, sports scientist, etc., etc., that will help them to have the best understanding of what they need to be doing before a game to have them ready for a Premier League match. Alright guys, thank you for watching today's video, and thank you to Fraser Goalkeeping for allowing us to collaborate with him again. Another really, hopefully interesting and insightful video for you on goalkeeping warm-ups, this time featuring Pickford and Pope. Once again, thank you for watching today's video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to seeing you all very soon.